NCAA basketball, NBA, NFL, golf, MLB, NHL. We've got it all for you. Stay tuned. Sports Talk Live is next. Welcome to Sports Talk Live. As I told you, we've got it all for you today. Jam-packed show, but we'll start it off a couple weeks late. But Virginia won the NCAA championship. You know, it was always said that maybe Tony Bennett's system wouldn't work in March and April with the tournament, but it ended up working. What do you take away from them winning it all?
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate comeback game. Obviously, last year losing to a 16 seed, that was a big blow for them. But, I mean, it was interesting because two defensive teams, but it kind of turned into an offensive game there. I mean, both teams were playing well. DeAndre Hunter, 27 points on 8 of 16 shooting. I mean, he played great all throughout the tournament, all throughout the season.
Yeah, I got to say, they just found a way to win. You know, they kept at it, and they had made a few big-time shots going into halftime to put them up by 3, and then DeAndre Hunter, like you said, 27 points at 3 to tie it up with 10 seconds left, and Texas Tech goes down the court and shoots early. That's what I was confused about. Why are you shooting with 6 seconds left? I'm a basketball guy, and I know you got to hold it to the last second to get that last shot off and give your the team the chance to win at that point in the game. So I thought it was just an overall really good game, though. So.
Yeah, what you were saying, said, you know, defensive teams turn into offensive battle. It was 85-77 was the final score, and although it went to overtime, it's still a pretty high-scoring game for a team, Virginia, who is always known for their stingy defense, and Texas Tech was the #1 defense coming into the game. I had tweeted out that the score was going to be 48-43, so I was way off. 85-77 is a lot of points for those teams to score, and so it made it for an exciting game.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, though, I mean, it was pretty low scoring to start, and then all of a sudden, both teams just caught fire, and yeah.
I was really impressed by the three-point shooting. Like, they were just lights out. It seemed like it was a slow start, and then just bang, bang, bang. It was just 3 after 3 after 3. It felt like, especially for Texas Tech down some of those stretches they had where they would get a big lead or be down a lot and then just bang some threes and be right back in it. So.
Yeah. Well, DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome have now declared for the NBA draft. I kind of thought that they might stay, just maybe try to win another one. If they would have stayed, I would have said they would have won it. Have a great chance to win it next year. Now I don't think so much. What do you think about their chances for the next year?
Personally, I haven't really looked into it. I know they got Kyle Guy coming back as his name. He was fun to watch throughout the whole tournament, and especially the last couple games. So, I mean, if they can get a cast around him, they can make a deep run. I don't know about winning it all, though.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. That's two really big blows. DeAndre Hunter, this season, he averaged 15.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. I mean, that's just a lot of efficiency that you're losing there. Yeah. But, I mean, it made sense for him to go into the draft. Gary Parrish actually has him in the mock draft, projected number 5. So, I mean, I think that's about a good spot for him. He's been playing well.
I definitely think he could go 4 right after Zion Ja and R.J. Barrett. I'm assuming he has Cam Reddish ahead of him, though. Yeah. So, well, we'll dig right into the NBA playoffs. Started this past week. You got a few games in some of the series, other series still at 1-0. But what are your biggest takeaways from those first couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a lot of fun to watch. Like, I'm a big NBA guy. I don't know. I mean, there's upsets. The Nets, the Magic, both winning. But the series that I'm really looking at right now is the Thunder and the Trailblazers. I think both teams, really scrappy teams. Russ and Damian Lillard, I mean, they create so much energy. And the first game, I'm going to be honest, it was not great shooting. OKC shot 40% and Portland only shot 42%, which I guess like isn't too surprising considering the Thunder. I mean, they struggle all the time shooting, and then their defense, which definitely forced Portland to a few bad shots. But I don't know. I think that game could go to 7. It's gonna be really interesting, and just both teams. I mean, they're playing hard. Russ was limping after like so many plays. Enes Kanter was limping. I mean, both teams were just putting it all out there, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I thought the first round, or just like the first games of each game series, a lot of close games, you know. Yeah, those upsets you were talking about. I know it's fun to watch those upsets early on, but it's hard to just those teams. It's gonna be hard for them to keeping up with those all-star teams. But one upset that I could see happening is the 7-seeded Spurs beating the 2-seed Nuggets, and I just think that would be such a San Antonio thing to do. And it's a tight race on the West, you know. You don't really know who's coming out of there to be in the finals or anything right now still. So I just think the Spurs beating the Nuggets would just be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I think the Spurs could definitely beat the Nuggets. Great coach. They got veteran leadership, guys that have been in the playoffs before. Nuggets are still kind of young, don't have that playoff experience yet. But I was really interested in the Jazz and the Rockets. The Rockets just blew the Jazz out. Thought the Jazz would put up a fight in this series, but now it's kind of looking like the Rockets might even sweep, which is pretty crazy to think about. And Jazz are a pretty good team, but Rockets could have easily been the 2 seed if they hadn't lost to OKC last game of the season. But I think we're probably headed for another Rockets. Well, Rockets would have to play the Warriors next round, so we wouldn't even get that in the Western Conference Finals. That'd be interesting. Could see a Spurs and Warriors Western Conference Finals, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys have been saying, like, just the Western Conference this year has been so. I mean, going into the last few games, you didn't know what seed each team was going to be. The Thunder was looking like they're going to be 8. They moved up to 6. The Rockets moved down. I mean, really, any team could do anything this year besides, like, obviously the Warriors are obviously up there as the top seed right now. But, I mean, besides that, it's really looking interesting.
The Clippers are I thought they would put up a fight. And now with Boogie out and coming back from the 31-point lead, that could be an intriguing series. That could be pretty fun the rest of the way.
A lot of momentum for the Clippers.
Yeah. So I think the Warriors still probably win, probably in 6. I'll give the Clippers one more game at home. But the Bucks, though, destroyed the Pistons with Blake Griffin out. And he's probably going to be out the rest of the series. I would imagine that if the game was close in Game 1, he'd probably come back at some point. But after the blowout, I think the Bucks are just going to roll. They probably don't even have to play their starters, and they would beat the Pistons in the series.
I feel like I heard that Blake Griffin was going to come back for the next game. I don't know if that's true, but I think either way, it's not going to matter. I think the Bucks just got to focus on resting because, I mean, if you can get the 76ers and the Celtics, if they can play some close series and get those teams rested or like beat up before they play the Bucks, I mean, that's going to be big. Yeah, that's huge.
I'm really excited for the Bucks. They're looking good right now, and I think they could easily make the NBA Finals. And beginning of the year, I said, you know, they could probably push the Warriors to 6 or 7. I'm thinking now they might have a chance to win it, but we'll see. That's a little cautious optimism. So moving on to the NFL, we got the NFL draft starting next week, Thursday. The big talk is around Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa as the #1 overall pick. So if you were the Arizona Cardinals, would you be taking Kyler Murray or would you be taking Nick Bosa?
Yeah, well, personally, if the Cardinals are set in stone, they're done with Rosen, getting rid of him, I don't see why you don't go with Murray. I think he's going to light up the field just like he did in college. Yeah, it may take a little bit to grow into, you know, you're going into the NFL scene, bigger, faster, stronger players, but he's right around the size of Russell Wilson, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but he just signed a really big contract to the Seahawks. So I think just seeing what Wilson has done, what Murray can do in the NFL, if they're done with Rosen, I don't see why you're not taking Rosen #1 overall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, like, the picks they can get out of Rosen, first of all, I mean, they can probably get a first-round pick, but also I don't see why not take Kyler Murray, just the athletic ability. I mean, take a risk. People are saying his size, small, but, I mean, like, Baker Mayfield, they said the same thing about him.
Yeah.
He's doing just fine. Also with Nick Bosa, what kind of concerns me is his injuries. I mean, like, he only played like 3 games this year, and even in his high school career, he tore his ACL. He's got family history going back for injuries, and it's just, I mean, that kind of concerns me. I don't think people are really talking about that too much, which could be a factor.
Yeah, like you said, I think it should be Kyler Murray all the way. It would work better with Cliff Kingsbury's system. And Rosen, although, you know, it probably takes a couple of years for a QB to get NFL ready, he just didn't look very good this past year. So get a first-round pick and some maybe additional picks down the road. Pick up Kyler Murray. Nick Bosa, you know, he'll probably end up being a good defensive end, but I think he's kind of riding on his brother's name and just the thought that, you know, just like you said, a few good games, he's just riding on that. You just never know.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be taking Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray should have been the pick from the beginning. So, well, we'll be back with mail time, but first, let's look at those adorable perfect pets.
Hi there, my name is Spike. I like to hang out with my friends and play with my toys. Come adopt me.
Time to go outside. Hi there, my name is Donnie. I'm a real happy guy. I love to play. Oh, there goes the ball. See ya.
Hello, my name's Oliver. Well, some might say I'm lazy, but I love to cuddle. Blip, cheerio.
To find out more about adoption, contact La Crescent Animal Rescue at 507-895-2066.
Welcome back. We got some interesting emails from some prominent players around the country. So let's dig into that. First, we got an email from Tiger Woods, and he said, "Hey guys, I've been playing really well lately, and I won the Masters this past weekend. Do you think it's possible for me to win another major this year? And do you think I will break Jack Nicklaus's record of 18 major titles?"
I gotta hope he wins another major, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, it was definitely fun to watch. Obviously, like, I'm a little younger, so I didn't grow up watching like the Tiger Woods days, but people just talking about it and talking about him coming back. I mean, obviously, like 4 back surgeries and 2 knee surgeries in like 6 years. I mean, that's just another great comeback story you gotta love to see. But I don't know. I don't think he'll break Jack Nicklaus's record, but I mean 3 more, I don't know. But if he can get another one, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd love to see it. It'd be a great comeback story. This is his first one since 2008, I think. So 11 years, and I'll tell you what, he looked dominant out there. I mean, I know the guy who was up with him had a couple hits into the pond on 16 or something, but 15. But I mean, he stayed in there the whole tournament, all 4 days. He played 4 great rounds of golf, and if he can look like that throughout the rest of the season, I don't see why he can't win another one somewhere.
I think he'll definitely win another one this year. There's one major at Bethpage Black, which he's won at, and another one at Pebble Beach, and he won that tournament back in 2000 by 15 strokes. So he's familiar with those courses. I think it'd be pretty cool if he tied Jack Nicklaus's record and they both were at 18. It'd kind of be a poetic thing.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when you were talking about the guy who like choked, though, I mean, that was tough to see. I mean, the thing about Tiger is that he stayed consistent throughout the whole thing, which was really good. But like, I mean, Francesco Molinari threw 63 rounds, holes of golf. I mean, he was looking great, and then 2 double bogeys on the back 9. I mean, that's just experience for one, not being in the position of that. But I don't know.
Woods kept his composure the whole time.
Yep.
I mean, he looked good out there, calm, cool, and collective.
Yep.
So
we've got another email from a bunch of the Warriors, actually. Steph Curry, KD, Steve Kerr emailed in and saying, "After we just blew a 31-point lead and lost Boogie Cousins possibly for the rest of the playoffs, is our championship chances in doubt?"
I think no. I think they're the best team in the league. They still have 4 or 5 All-Stars on their roster. I'm just going to go out there and say the best team goes through Golden State. I think that's going to be the team to beat on the West. There's a lot of really good teams over on the West side, but it's hard to not pick those guys after what they've done for the past few years. So.
For sure. I mean, it's definitely hard to not pick them, but I think it does kind of bring a little bit interesting story to it. Because, I mean, Boogie Cousins, he didn't play the whole season, but I think he was a big piece in that, like, he's kind of their only big man that can really guard the centers. After he went out, Montrezl Harris, he was 9 of 9 for 25 points. And I mean, Andrew Bogut was on him, who just came back from the European League or something, I think, and he couldn't guard him. He couldn't guard him. I mean, like, and that's got to be a cause of concern going down the stretch. And not only that, but just the drama within the Warriors. I mean, every year, but even more this year now. I mean, fighting between the players, fighting other players. KD, he can't keep his composure, and it's really getting to him.
Another email we got was from the Red Sox, and they say, we've really sucked these first couple weeks of the season after winning the World Series last year. Do you think we can get back to the playoffs and win it all, or is our pitching just too bad?
I think that they're just struggling to start the year. You know, it happens time to time, and the team will come back. They just got to get back up to speed. I mean, if you look at it, it's going to be them and Yankees fighting for their division or their conference. But the Red Sox are 6-11. The Yankees are just 6-9. So I mean, they're both struggling to start the season, fighting some injuries. I think they're both going to come back strong and kick it up as the season goes on, and eventually, they'll be one of the teams to beat late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that I don't think it's too much of an issue. I mean, it's 17 games in a 162-game schedule. But I don't necessarily agree with you on that the Yankees and the Red Sox are going to be the top two this year. I think I'm kind of looking at the Tampa Bay Rays, and I mean, they're 12-4 right now, and they're playing great baseball. So I don't know. I'm
going to counter you guys. I'm actually going to say it is a problem. They haven't looked very good. And although I do still see them making the playoffs, I don't think they have a chance of getting back to the World Series. So, one last email we got was from a controversial character, Antonio Brown, and he says, "I've created quite the stir-up in the media lately. Do you think that I'm correct or Juju is correct?"
Well, I just think it's funny that he's pulling out these tweets from 2015 when Juju's back in college. Like, he's just a young guy asking a professional for, like, hey, what do I need to do to get there? So, like, I don't know what that's all about and if there really is some bad beef between them, but have fun in Oakland, Antonio. You do your thing and have fun with Derek Carr's passes to you. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm disappointed in Antonio Brown. He's kind of been my savior in fantasy football the past few years, and so I've really been thankful for him, but I don't know. It's too much drama. He's trying to look like Odell. Just getting into stupid things. The lawsuit with throwing the couch over the balcony and almost hitting a kid. I was like why? Like, why do you get yourselves into these things?
Yeah. I am definitely 100% on Juju's side. I don't know what Antonio Brown's thinking is very, very foolish. I think he's become the Kevin Durant of the NFL. Two guys that were really liked by most of the fan base in those leagues, and then you just do a couple stupid things, get on people's nerves, and now a lot of people hate most people hate those two players. So I don't know what Antonio Brown's doing. It's kind of foolish, and might be linked to some CTE stuff. I don't know. We'll be right back after this break with WMCM promos.
Keep going.
Wisconsin Lacrosse brings you a weekly student newscast. Important news. Movie critiques. Weather forecasts. Sports highlights. And local interviews. UWL's own WMCM, run by the students, for the students. Every Thursday at 4:30 on Campus Channel 200 and Charter Channel 989.
Are you a movie fanatic? Tune in on WMCM TV's Screening Room, Tuesdays at 2:45 or 4:30. You can watch on Channel 200 and Charter 989. See you on Tuesdays for Screening Room.
Welcome back. We'll talk a little buy or sell. You got 3 topics to talk about. First one, Aaron Rodgers. So a lot has been brought up recently about his issues with, team personnel, maybe Mike McCarthy. Buy or sell, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault that Mike McCarthy was fired.
I'm gonna have to sell on that. I don't know exactly, like Greg Jennings and Jermichael Finley. I feel like they're so far out of the spotlight. They're kind of just like trying to get back in, get back relevant. Obviously, something with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy last year was interesting. It was just like it looked like I can't talk. It looked like Aaron Rodgers didn't want to play for him anymore,
Yeah.
which I mean I do agree with that. He just the whole team looked like they kind of gave up, and I mean, I don't know. They just needed some sort of change.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the mesh between Rodgers and McCarthy was just, you could kind of see it falling apart throughout the season, and they didn't have the season that they were expecting to have. I'm pretty sure there was playoff talks at the beginning of the year, and then Rodgers goes down game 1, and then it kind of all just, in my eyes, collapsed at that point in time. They tried to come back up, and then a couple games here and there you thought, hey, they might be doing what they're supposed to do, and then just kind of fell back down, and then McCarthy's gone. So I think it's kind of a mixture of both. Personnel's just kind of not meshing together the way they used to, and just the Packers not having the season that they were expecting.
Yeah, that article by Tyler Dunn I thought was just basically a smear campaign against Aaron Rodgers. Asking Greg Jennings and Jermichael Finley their opinions on Aaron Rodgers is just a really bad source of information, because those two, ever since they left the Packers, have just hated Aaron Rodgers for some odd reason. Greg Jennings is just a salty player that, he thought he was, the bee's knees, and he leaves the Green Bay, goes to Miami, goes to Minnesota, and he's just awful. He thought that he made Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers made him, and I think he's really salty about that. Jermichael Finley, I don't know what his problem was with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. It was really just an injury that got him out of the league. Exactly. Although he did drop a lot of passes while he was there, so I don't know why he's really angry with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers really did anything to him. It was all basically self-inflicted or injury problems. So I don't know what their issue is, but obviously we all know Aaron Rodgers isn't the nicest dude in the world, and he's going to have some character issues here and there. But overall, guys like Devontae Adams and Jeff Janis, a bunch of players have come out in his defense saying, this dude is, a top-notch teammate, and we love playing for this guy. So, I think they got to figure out a way to get better information from their sources other than guys who are super biased. So
yeah, I think that's the same thing with just Aaron Rodgers. He's a certain personality. You're going to love him or you're going to hate him. He's competitive. He's like Kobe Bryant, where he just came at people, and some people didn't take to it. But, he wants to win, and I don't know. I think it's okay.
So, buy or sell, NHL playoffs are now underway, and do you buy or do you sell that the NHL playoffs are the most exciting playoffs because of their parity?
I can't say I watch a lot of hockey, but from what I do see, highlights and this and that from the hockey, it's exciting, and I feel like any hockey fan is going to come out and say, yes, it is the most exciting playoffs. Those guys go at each other every single night. Not that they don't in other sports, but these guys are just big, physical. They're on ice the whole time. I mean, just from what I kind of see, yes, it's very exciting. The most exciting, I don't know. That's going to be up to who you talk to, but it is a very exciting series for the hockey. So
yeah, I think it's really interesting to watch, especially this year with the Tampa Bay Lightning tying the NHL record for the most wins in a season, and now they're down 3-0, being the top seed, and it's it's interesting. They actually started the playoffs favorites 2-1, so they said they had a 50% chance of winning the Stanley Cup, and now obviously Victor Hedman went down, he's injured, which creates a huge blow, especially on the defensive side. But yeah, it doesn't look good for them.
Yeah, I love the parity in the NHL. It's always, it's always just whoever's playing hot, which happens a lot in a lot of playoffs, but I don't know if it's the most exciting. I'd put, you know, NCAA basketball up there, maybe the MLB, but hockey playoffs are just so exciting. Like you said, the Lightning are down 3-0, and they clinched the best record like way earlier than what's normal. That's insane. The Penguins are down 3-0, and they're always really good. And then there's just a bunch of series that are 1-1, 2-1 right now, and so NHL playoffs are always exciting for sure. So. And last one, buy or sell that the Nets and or the Magic can win their series after going up 1-0 after Game 1.
It's a long shot. I don't know. It'd be fun to see. It'd be good. I mean, it'd be good publicity for the league, getting an underdog story in there. But I don't know. The Raptors, that's going to be a hard win for the Magic. That buzzer beater, you can't say it's a fluke they beat them, but I don't know if they're going to come back and be able to win 3 games against a very good Raptors team. And that kind of goes same for the Nets. I know the Sixers evened up the series last night without Embiid. Wasn't playing, was he?
He played limited minutes,
So, I mean, he still was in there, but kind of took care of that game. So it will be interesting to watch these series unfold, but I don't know if either of them will get them.
Yeah, I think like the first games of each series, like Ben Simmons had 9 points, Kyle Lowry had 0 points for the Raptors, which is just unorthodox for both teams. And I mean, once you start to get production out of them, I can't see like it continuing. It's interesting to see. Like I said, it's good for the Bucks, but I mean, Joel Embiid, when he's playing, he's dominant, but I guess that's still kind of a question mark for me going forward is, can he stay healthy? Like, I mean, he can never play more than 60 games in a year, let alone try to play more games in the playoffs. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think I picked the Nets to win the series before the playoffs started. The Magic, the only way I think that they would win the series is if playoff Kyle Lowry continues. He's just always been awful in the playoffs. I don't understand it. Like you said, 0 points. He's got to do something productive. I just think the Raptors are too talented with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
So.
I agree.
Oh, to finish off the show, we're going to do some rants where each of us go through and just kind of rant about a topic in sports. I'll start. Mine, we hit a little bit on it earlier, is the Aaron Rodgers story. Tyler Dunn coming out with the article on Bleacher Report, basically a smear campaign of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, we all know Aaron Rodgers isn't the greatest human being in the world, but who is the greatest human being in the world? Who has no issues with their character? I haven't met anyone like that. So I think when you're going to guys like Greg Jennings and Jermichael Finley and asking their opinions when they have already come out and consistently, year after year, just bashing the dude for what seems like no reason except they're just salty that they weren't as good, without him. That kind of stuff is beyond me. I don't think that's very good journalism at all. And with guys like Devontae Adams coming out and saying, this dude is a great teammate, and the article says that Jeff Janis was dogged time after time in spring practices, things like that, and he said, maybe that was the case, but he didn't have a problem with it because he knew Aaron Rodgers expected greatness, and he has no qualms about him. So you need to do better journalism, Tyler Dunn, and figure out how to actually report on the facts.
Yeah, so my rant, I'm going to go into the UFC a little bit, and why do these UFC cards have to be so expensive? These fights are so exciting. This last fight, UFC 236, they had Kevin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya as a co-main event, and that fight went all 5 rounds. An exciting finish with Israel coming out on top. And you got Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier as the main card. Like, those are just incredible fights. A little out of budget for me to spend to watch these fights. So come on, UFC, why you got to make all of these fights on pay-per-view? And then another thing with the UFC, not really mad about it, but you got Ben Askren now, local Wisconsin talent, and he is so fun to watch, just calling people out. I think that's good for the UFC. So what they're doing there with him is also good job, UFC.
All right, my rant isn't as much as a rant, more as a hot take, saying that the Warriors are going to lose this year, and they're not going to lose in the finals. They're going to lose in the Western Conference to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think Russ is looking for a vengeance, and I think the Boogie injury is really going to have a difference maker because Steven Adams, I mean, I feel like he's too big, and they're not going to be able to guard him. Defensively, the Thunder are superior Jeremy Grant with the blocks, steals, deflections. The Thunder are leading in everything. But the main thing that they have to do is they have to play together. I'm sick of seeing the Thunder run down the court and Russell Westbrook just throwing up a three when you know he can't shoot. So I don't know what he's doing with that. But I think that's all we have for Sports Talk Live today.
Well, high school Ben Simmons, throwback Giannis. Thanks for joining me here on Sports Talk Live. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock for another WMCM show.